Hello everybody, and welcome to the James Leman Writing YouTube channel. This is going to serve as kind of my headquarters on YouTube for giving out announcements about upcoming projects, giving out insights into the ideas that are motivating my writing, and of course, information on upcoming books and other stories that I might be releasing. Now, you might wonder why I, as a brand new author, I don't have a single published work out yet. My first book is going to be released in May 2025, so this coming May. Why I am going ahead and making a YouTube channel? Well, the reason why is because my writing is motivated by a very specific set of ideas, and I want to promote those ideas. I want to make a real movement out of my work. The thing is, there's three types of entertainment that are most common in America today. The first are your big budget soulless projects that often don't even make budget at the box office. These will be films like all of the B-grade action movies starring Dwayne Johnson, pretty much anything put out by Marvel at this point. Just a bunch of movies that have no real message to them, a lot of flashy visual effects, huge budgets, and a bunch of not great humor. And really, they're barely worth watching, if even worth watching, because there's nothing really at the heart of them driving forward. There's not a very interesting plot. There's not deeper ideas or themes. It's just a bunch of, shall we say, entertainment for your eyes, not entertainment for your mind. So the second type is going to be woke entertainment. Okay, this is like entertainment that more caters to a left-wing perspective on many issues, especially social ones like sexuality, race, things like that. Oftentimes, this entertainment will be about the same quality as the first category that is not that good, but then there will just like be a gay guy in it so that they can check that box, right? And even when it is more genuine, it's still going to drive conservative and often even centrist viewers away. And so, at best, it's a form of entertainment that just caters to the left side. At worst, it's just box checking and not even really having any intellectual value whatsoever to anyone. So the next type is going to be conservative entertainment. Conservative entertainment used to be pretty much dominant. This was the case during the golden age of Hollywood. It was also the case during the big dystopia craze. A lot of the dystopian works of literature made during the 1930s, 40s, and 50s were either written by conservatives or disaffected liberals, right, discussing problems with the far left. Now, those days are gone, right? Conservative entertainment is not dominant anymore. It does have dominance in a few areas, I would say, like military thrillers, for instance, tend to be from a more conservative perspective. But definitely the day has come where liberal entertainment reigns supreme. As to what conservative entertainment there is, it's usually indie projects, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with independent projects. But oftentimes they're just not that good. And they're not really, similar to the woke films that are just checking boxes, it often doesn't feel like a genuine dive into what conservatism is really about. Some examples of this would be like the Daily Wire's Lady Ballers. It's just kind of a extremely shallow, like just kind of funny interpretation of a political event that is the transgender issue. Now, whether or not you think it takes the right or wrong side is its own discussion. Obviously, if you're conservative, you agree with the point it's making. If you're liberal, you don't. But regardless, we can all agree that it's just kind of a comedy that's using a kind of absurd scenario to prove a conservative point. And maybe it does prove the conservative point, maybe it doesn't. That's its own conversation. But the point is, it's not really getting you deep into what conservatism is about. It's not showing you the world through conservative eyes. So I am a conservative. I want to make that clear from the beginning of the channel for anyone who might not be aware of that, because that's going to help you understand where most of my writing is coming from. Because what I want to do with my book is I want to write fiction of various kinds, various genres, that demonstrate the world through conservative eyes. Okay, I want someone to read it and understand what conservatism is, okay? And I also want to make sure that what's being demonstrated is the actual heart of conservatism, okay? Because in America today, conservatism is a political movement, okay? It's a reaction against liberalism. So you have all kinds of people with all kinds of views calling themselves conservatives, even if they're not what would traditionally be thought of as a conservative in the West. So I want to make very clear, first off, what kind of worldview I'm pushing. The heart of my worldview and the heart of what I believe conservatism is really about is this. There is a God, there is a right way to live and a wrong way to live. Certain things are good, other things are evil. You need to choose good over evil in all situations, no matter what it does to you, no matter what it costs you. You have to be willing to bite every bullet that it takes to always do what's right. Okay, that's well, I believe in moral absolutism, not relativism, right? I believe that truth and righteousness comes from above humanity, right, from God. I don't believe it's something that we can determine ourselves. And I think we need to stay on the straight and narrow, doing what's right to the end of the line. That's what I believe. That's the fundamental core of what I believe. So I think that my fiction, and I hope that my fiction will be able to speak to all three groups, conservatives, centrists, and liberals, as it has something to say to each one of them specifically. To conservatives, I want to make sure that my fiction keeps them focused on what conservatism is actually about, okay? Like I said, those fundamental existential truths. You gotta do what's right. And that is independent, right? Righteousness is independent of what's going on around you. There is a transcendental truth handed down to us by God, right? And you have to follow it. And so it's easy as a conservative to get distracted into all the different side quest issues, let us say, that are showing up right now. It's easy to get too focused on talking about Ukraine or coronavirus or whatever random thing it is that's happening right now. And while those issues are important and one needs to come up with good responses to them, it's easy to put those responses above what conservatism is actually about. Okay, next is for centrists. So centrists are skeptical of politics in general. They often see conservatives and liberals as basically phony ideologies just vying for power, but that's not really accurate. We're both conservatives and liberals. Our beliefs and our worldviews are formed by a very specific set of beliefs about reality, right? And these beliefs about reality are very fundamental to your understanding of morals, of right and wrong, and of big existential questions like that. And so it's important, I think, that centrists are aware of that. And so hopefully what my fiction would be able to demonstrate to a centrist is they'll be able to understand what conservatism is about, the things I've already described, right? Moral absolutism, truth, God, righteousness, all that important stuff. And some centrists may determine, oh, I think I am a conservative, right? Or some might be, well, I haven't been a conservative before, but what he's talking about sounds really beautiful. Or maybe they just realize what conservatism is about and they still don't want any of it. But anyway, it's supposed to present conservatism to all. Then for liberals, on both sides of the aisle, what's typically done is the other side is just seen as the encompassment of all that's bad. I'd certainly say that's a very common phenomenon in how we often view liberals in the rural South and rural Texas, which is where I'm from. And so I know for a fact that similar things happen just in the reverse in very liberal areas like New England, like Portland, Oregon, or California. And so what I hope that my book does, and all the books that will come out after it, is demonstrate to liberals, okay, maybe right now we're talking about this issue, right? Coronavirus, Ukraine, Trump, this, that, blah, 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 blah. But it's important that you don't lose sight of what your opponents fundamentally believe, right? What our consistent theme has been through the last several hundred years, right? In the face of many social developments that have occurred. Ultimately, what my fiction is supposed to do is expose the fundamental ideas behind conservatism and, as I see it, humanity as a whole. That's what I hope to do with my writing. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I plan to do this through a variety of genres. I have a book coming out again in May. It's titled A Damn Good Man. That'll be on Amazon. And it is a post-apocalyptic work. Okay, it's kind of a prepper book about America after a nuclear war. So that would be one. But then I also have a science fiction book that I'm writing after that. I've got a Western that I'm planning on writing. So I'm trying to cover a wide variety of genres, from Westerns to modern thrillers to futuristic thrillers to sci-fi to prepper fiction to contemporary fiction, historical fiction, everything under the sun. I would say I'm definitely not a romance writer, so don't expect any romances coming out at any point. But in general, my books tend to be adventure themed, action themed, but not in a way that most thrillers that you get at the mall do. I would say in a much more intellectual way. Something more like a Cormac McCarthy book than a Brad Thor book. In any case, thank you, God bless, and have a nice day.